Welcome to Ghouls Night Out with your hostesses, Brandy and Jody.
Hello, beautiful ghouls. Welcome. This is Brandy. I'm here with my sister, Jody.
Hello.
So I have seemingly innocent things that are really actually dangerous.
Oh, okay.
So kitten bites. If a kitten has unclean teeth and bites you to the point where blood is drawn, there is a decent chance that you can get a major infection and die. Their teeth are like little needles that inject bacteria right into your blood, and since their teeth are so thin, you heal from the bite really fast. However, your body never has a chance to clean the bacteria before the wound closes, so the rate of infection is crazy high.
Damn, I've been lucky then.
I know. I wonder if that's the same with their claws, too, because their claws are crazy
razor sharp.
Yeah. Pushing and using force to push out a turd.
Oh.
Unfortunately true. If you have to do a lot of straining, adjust your diet and talk to your doctor. Hard straining can cause everything from minor inconveniences like hemorrhoids up to heart attacks and strokes. Let's face it, no one really wants to get found dead on a toilet.
No.
That would be awful.
That would be so embarrassing. Of course, at that point, I wouldn't care.
Do you imagine the Beetlejuice waiting room, though? Like, I was taking a shit. I don't know what the fuck happened.
I was just innocently sitting on the toilet, trying to shit, and now I'm here. What the fuck?
Driving while tired. It can be just as dangerous as driving while drunk, but many people do it without thinking twice. For context, 20 hours awake impairs you just as much as 0.08%, which counts as a DUI in many states.
I believe that.
Yeah. Both moving water and still water on the road can be very dangerous. You never know how deep it could be, and water can absolutely pick up your whole car and send you off in unintended directions quite suddenly at the same speed you were traveling.
Yep. I've heard that many times.
Yeah. A lot of people end up with liver failure from overusing Tylenol, which is not harmless, just don't treat it like Skittles.
Yeah, I never do Tylenol. It doesn't do anything. It does absolutely nothing.
I do very, very rarely. If it's like a headache I can't get rid of or something, I'll take, but...
The only time I take Tylenol is when I've had like a surgery or something, and they give me Tylenol with codeine. That's the only time.
Yeah. Next one is Brazilian butt lifts, one of the most dangerous cosmetic surgeries. A study showed that 1 in 3,000 Brazilian butt lift surgeries result in death, the highest mortality rate of any cosmetic procedure.
I wonder why.
I don't know. That's
Speaking
crazy.
of that, I was watching the Kardashians.
Uh-huh.
And, they're all beautiful.
Yeah.
And, they've all had work. Whatever.
Yeah.
To each their own.
Sure.
Except the butt.
Oh my God, I don't get it.
It looks so stupid.
It does.
I don't understand.
I don't either.
They are all so fit and trim and beautiful. And then they get these fucking butt plant or whatever it is. And it looks stupid.
I agree. I don't get it.
It looks so stupid.
I know, it's not necessary. And it's dangerous. Okay, not having enough sodium. There's always warnings about having too much salt, but apparently if you don't have enough, it can throw your body totally out of whack. Learn this from after passing out and ending up in the ER.
Yeah, especially, since I've been doing that intermittent fasting.
Oh, yeah.
That's a real concern when you're doing that.
Yeah.
I only eat once a day, so obviously I'm not getting any sodium all day.
Right.
So I have to make sure that, I put
make up for
put
that.
salt, which I always do anyway, but I put salt and I'm not worried about if I'm eating too much of it or not.
Garage door springs. My buddy installs garage doors professionally, and he has a ton of horror stories. One that sticks out in my head is while tensioning the spring, one of the guys he was working with let the tension bar go, and it flung so hard that it went directly through the ceiling, second floor of the house, and out of the roof. They never found where it landed.
Oh my gosh, I've heard of that.
Holy shit.
People have died because of that.
Yeah, garage doors are dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Full force punch to the face. People have died from a single punch. Also, just being punched or falling on the ground. Human bodies can surprisingly be very weak and very strong, but not as strong as concrete.
Yeah.
Eating grapefruit while on medication. Grapefruit has so many bad interactions with medication, ranging from rendering the medication ineffective to toxicity.
Yeah, one of my medications, I can't take it.
Yeah.
Or I can't eat grapefruit.
It's crazy.
When I take it.
Putting your feet on the dashboard is extremely dangerous when people are driving.
I've done that quite a few times.
It's like, you're bad idea.
Yeah.
Walking up and down the stairs. The most common accident at home is falling down the stairs.
I don't have to worry about that.
Nope. Sitting all day. I just tore my something. PSOAS? PSOAS?
I don't know.
Because I sit all day and it was weak as fuck. I never knew you could tear a muscle from underuse. 2 months of excruciating pain, 3 weeks of physical therapy, and I'm finally getting better. But yeah, stretching and yoga are top priority for me now. That's crazy because I sit all day. I didn't even think about that. Pregnancy can be deadly. Pregnancy can leave lifelong health complications. Pregnancy can be expensive if you don't have the right medical care or are in the right country. This is why it needs to be a choice, because even when you plan things out, things can go south quickly.
Yep.
Absolutely. I think people frequently drive way too close to the car in front of them. Growing up, I was always taught the car length distance for every 10 miles per hour, and that simple rule of driving has saved my ass more times than I can count.
Yeah, I tried to stay far away from
Yeah, I do too.
Unless I'm pissed off because they're not going the speed limit, and then I end up riding their ass.
Everyone does. Next one, bleach. Mixed with ammonia, basically mustard gas, you die. Mixed with alcohol, chloroform, you can pass out and have organ failure. Mixed with vinegar, chlorine gas, you die. Bonus, mix hydrogen peroxide with vinegar, something acid. Your lungs bleed.
Yeah.
Peracetic acid, maybe? To clarify, do not clean pee with bleach. Pee has ammonia. So you die.
That's not good.
No. I also heard you're not supposed to clean, like, mold with bleach, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it like, releases some sort of toxic something. I learned that right after I cleaned mold with bleach.
Yeah. I've actually cleaned mold with bleach, too.
Falling down. I know there are jokes about the whole I've fallen down and can't get up, but the danger's real. As we get older, our bones lose density and strength, so falling can actually cause legitimate injuries. And even if you're old, unprotected falls are still dangerous. Street fights where people get knocked out and fall into concrete are super dangerous. It doesn't take a lot of height to cause serious damage when falling and hitting your head.
Oh, yeah. If you hit it just right, that's it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Also, the jokes where I've fallen and I can't get up are from an old commercial.
Yes.
If you don't know that. It's not just funny when old people fall.
Yes.
Want to clarify that. Next one, noise-canceling headphones while walking in cities.
Duh.
You need to be able to hear your surroundings to react properly. Can easily walk into traffic or get swiped by a bike if you're tuning out the world. It's important to be aware of your surroundings in dense areas. Yeah, that should be common sense, people.
I don't even like to wear my earbuds in both ears when I'm at work.
No, I don't. I wear one.
Yeah, I wear one because I need to know what's going on around me.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, unless you're sitting like in your living room where alone.
Yeah.
Then you put two in. Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I've tried it. I've tried the two.
Yeah, me too. I can't hear. Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah. Same. For new parents, sleeping with your newborn in bed. A lot of SIDS cases are actually accidentally smothering from one of the parents rolling on the baby and not finding out until it's too late. Sadly, I've seen this happen more than a few times. That is sad.
Mm-hmm.
Bathtub shower combos. There are more than 80,000 injuries annually in the U.S. from bathtub/shower accidents. Running water in river or streams doesn't take much to swipe you off your feet. Grain silos. There's a lot of reasons, but most notably is if you have to work in the interior of the grain silo, the grain acts like quicksand and you can sink into the grain and suffocate, being completely unable to get out on your own. Suffocation is the main cause of death in grain silo incidences. It can take less than 22 seconds to be completely enveloped in grain.
I've heard that before.
Me too.
And
That'd be
you
terrifying.
sit there and you think about it. It's not like water where you could, float at the top if you need to.
Yeah.
You sink.
You sink.
And
then
that's
you're
it.
covered. Yeah.
That's it.
Scary.
And you can't
No, you can't swim up to the top. No. And the last one, dogs. I fucking love dogs, but don't pet someone's dog without asking first. And absolutely don't put your face near theirs without knowing the dog is safe. At the end of the day, it's a 50-pound predator with pointy teeth and strong jaws. If he feels threatened, he'll use them without a second thought. Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, those are mine for the beginning.
All right, let me see what I got here. Okay, these are just freaky stories.
Okay.
When my father was in the hospital, my mother stayed with me since my apartment was right next to the hospital. One night, I had a dream where my mom answered the phone and learned that my dad had passed. She hung up and told me that my uncle, who was a doctor at the hospital, just told her that it had happened. I woke up startled and went to get water. Just as I started to relax and calm down, the phone rang. My mom picked it up, and I saw tears start falling down her face. She hung up and said that my uncle said that my father had just passed.
Well, I mean, was that premonition, or did you just have a dream because your dad's in the hospital?
You pretty much figured that was going to happen, and yeah.
That's sad, though.
I was in a very rural area and driving around 3 a.m. I saw a woman in a white nightgown on the side of the road. She was just standing there, staring up a deep embankment. There weren't any homes nearby for miles. I pulled over and immediately called someone to come and check on the girl. When the deputy arrived, neither of us could find anyone nearby.
That's weird.
That one didn't make much sense to me.
Well, I mean, it's creepy.
It's like, were you not just standing there with her? Or you wouldn't have noticed her disappearing?
Well, didn't they say they left and came back?
No. They said they slowed... I think it said they slowed down and called somebody. It says I pulled over.
Oh.
So pulled over to the side of the road and called someone to come check on the girl. When the deputy got there...
Oh, I don't know. That's weird.
I know. That's what I was thinking. It's like, well, where the fuck were you?
Oh, maybe they turned their head for a minute and then she was gone.
I don't know.
That's creepy, though.
My father passed when I was 15. In my freshman year of college, my roommate and I were close, but had only known each other a month when this happened. She was not aware about my childhood, but she knew that I lost my father. And one night, she woke me up and asked, "Did your father used to call you?" And then their pet name.
Okay.
My blood ran cold. I hadn't heard that name since I was little, and I definitely never told her about it. She had a dream that my father asked her to come take care of me, calling me by his pet name.
Aw.
My dad missed my high school graduation, but I guess he saw it wherever he is now.
That's nice.
Yeah. I wonder why they cared about the pet, not saying what the actual pet name was.
I don't know.
That's weird.
Maybe it's embarrassing. Maybe it's like skid mark or something.
You'd only get it if you were on the inside joke.
Yeah.
I remember reading in the living room when I heard the most beautiful violin melody. I listened to the whole thing, which was several minutes long. I walked to compliment my brother on his masterpiece, and that's when I realized I was completely alone.
That's creepy. Oh my gosh.
Where did it come from? When I was about 9 years old, back in the 1970s, I was playing football in the street. A bus came along, so I jumped onto the pavement. As it passed, I noticed my aunt, and she smiled and waved to me. When the bus had gone, I carried on playing. I went home several hours later. That's when my mom told me that my aunt had passed the previous evening.
Oh, that's creepy.
That gave me chills.
Yeah. It's nice, though. I mean, like,
Yeah.
say bye.
Why would she get on a bus, though?
I don't know.
That's weird.
Maybe that was the least, like...
Scary?
Yeah, like
way
for a
of
little
doing
kid.
It? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. My dorm in college was strange. Once I went to the bathroom to wash my face and brush my teeth. The sink was right next to the entrance, and as I washed my face, I saw and heard the door open and noticed a figure move to the end of the stalls. I just figured that another girl had come in to use the bathroom. I dried off my face and started brushing my teeth, but I realized that I couldn't hear anyone else. I checked each stall and no one was in there. I quickly grabbed my stuff and noped out.
That is fucking creepy.
Yes. That's one of those things, it's a noise that you expect.
It's so
know?
mundane. Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't think anything of it.
Exactly. It's like no big deal whatsoever, and then no one's fucking there.
Yeah, and then you start thinking, did I imagine that?
Yeah, am I crazy?
I was playing football with my friend and younger brother in a remote park. We thought we had it to ourselves, but then we saw 3 or 4 people came wearing Victorian-style clothing. They came in and put a box underneath a tree with big branches. Then they tied a rope around it, and one of them stood there with the noose around his neck. Then his friend kicked the box so that he was hanging. They took turns doing this, and we left. It was super weird thinking back to it, and I have to check with my brother whenever I think about it to make sure it actually happened. You think it's weird?
What? Is that some dead person game we don't know about?
I don't know.
That is fucking weird.
You know,
what?
sometimes I think about that. I think it's kind of weird.
What the fuck? Oh my god.
My friend and I were sleeping in my parents' room one night when she was over, and it was probably around 3 a.m. Suddenly we heard a sound like a toot from the southeast corner of the room. I asked my friend...
What stories are you telling us? Come on.
I asked my friend if it was her, and she said no, since it clearly came from that corner. Thinking maybe it was my dogs, as they sometimes slept in my parents' room, I went and checked it out, but they weren't in the room with us. Okay, so that's weird, I thought. And my friend also said she heard a distinct toot, too. So we assumed that maybe we both misheard. All of a sudden, my phone rang. It was an unknown caller, and I did not answer because I was freaking out. After declining, I got a message from an unknown number. The text was in Spanish. After translating it, it said, "Did you hear that toot?"
Shut the fuck up. What?
We never slept in there with the Spanish tooting ghost again.
Oh my god.
So when they say toot, do they mean like a toot, kind of like a horn?
No,
or a
it's
toot
a fart.
like a fart?
That's a fart. I was thinking, wouldn't that be funny if every time you had a silent fart, it just immediately went into a portal and like the other people heard it? But you can't hear it. That is hilarious.
Oh my god.
The text just brought the whole story together.
Did you hear that toot?
That is hilarious. Oh my god.
In my mother's house, the basement light would turn on while we were away, even if we had it off before we left. I went downstairs and said, "Hey, Mr. Ghost Man, this is not good for the bills. Could you please chill it with the lights?" "Yes, I know it's dark down here." "Okay, thanks." After that, the light stayed off.
Oh, nice ghost. Respectful.
I once had a dream where my grandma was on a bus. It stopped near my grandfather and I, and she wanted me to go along. My grandfather kept insisting that I couldn't go. The bus left as she was going to the big casino in the sky. She loved the casinos. I woke up just after the phone call saying she had passed in her sleep.
Oh, it was a dream?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Why'd she want him to go?
I don't know. That's not right.
No, that's kind of creepy.
Grandma just needs to go on with herself.
leave other people
Yeah,
alone.
they'll be there later. I was working in a retail store in a pretty sketchy area. There was this lady who was obviously a heavy substance user, or had been one. She must have been in her 50s or 60s. She was notorious on my block for being crazy, but she would visit me all the time and said she thought I was cute. It was really bizarre. Especially so because she looked like an addict, but she'd act like a teenage girl around me.
Ew.
I tried to be nice because she was known for being volatile. On Christmas Eve, she packed an entire Christmas dinner, which was all home-cooked Guyanese
I don't know.
food and a cologne set. On her way out, she just squatted down. Then she threw her hands up and started cackling. She laughed hysterically for almost 5 straight minutes and then abruptly walked out. I never saw her again.
What the fuck?
Weird.
That's scary.
Yeah. It was my final year at university, and I was working as a TA for a language professor. I basically lived in the known-to-be-haunted humanities building. One Tuesday between my last class and first lesson, I was in the staff room using the microwave to heat up my dinner. A woman I'd never seen before came in. She gave an obligatory, "Let me just scooch past you and check the time on the coffee machine." I found it weird that a university employee came here just to check the time on the coffee machine. You don't have a phone, computer, watch, or a clock? But who was I to judge? She checked the time, and then she said, "That can't be right. What time is it?" I said, it's 5:37. And she said, 5 minutes fast. Okay. With that, she left, and although a bit odd, I didn't dwell on the interaction until 1 week later. On a Tuesday evening, while I was again heating up my food, she entered. She gave the obligatory, "Let me just scooch past you and check the time." "That can't be right. What time is it?" So I checked my phone. It was exactly 5:37. I told her, and once more she said, 5 minutes fast. Okay, and left. Deeply unsettled, I grabbed my food and hurried upstairs. I never saw her again.
Weird.
That is creepy.
Yeah. What the fuck?
When I was 18, I was driving at night to see my friend. This man jumped in front of my car to stop me. He looked crazy to me. I slowed to almost a stop, and then he moved to scream to me through the window. I couldn't make out what he was saying, but he seemed kind of deranged. I just drove off once he got out of the way. I was so creeped out, but I still feel guilty that I didn't help him. Nope, they did the right thing.
Yeah.
Just keep on going. My bestie and I were sleeping over at her grandma's house and enjoying the newly renovated attic. It was just 2 15-year-olds painting nails, watching DVDs, and talking about the hottest gossip at school. It was already 3 a.m. when we decided to get some sleep. A couple minutes later, we sat bolt upright. We heard scratching, followed by a big bang coming from the other room. One of the paintings was lying on the floor almost 4.5 yards away from where it was supposed to be. It wasn't as if the screw broke, so then it fell off. Nope, it was a solid 4.5 yards away from that wall. The holes in the wall looked like something grabbed that painting and pulled it straight out, ripping the drywall out around it.
Holy shit.
I'm still getting goosebumps remembering it.
That's scary.
Okay, now this one is called Ninja Santa.
Oh, God.
I was in bed when the sound of steps on my roof tiling woke me up. I think I was about 13 at the time. I saw a shadow walk past my skylight and was unsure of what it was. I looked outside my window and saw a man dressed in all black looking out from the construction scaffolding. Then he looked into my window. I tried to hide, and my brother saw him too. We never found out what happened to him, but we did report it.
Interesting. Why was he Santa? Was it just because it was Christmas time?
I don't know.
And they were on the roof?
Or he was on the roof.
That's weird.
Yeah. On a road trip, my friend and I were hungry and went looking for food in a town in Maryland. I don't remember the name of the town, but it felt very strange as soon as we pulled onto the main road, as there didn't seem to be any people out and about. It was the middle of the day, but no one was walking around. There weren't any restaurant food options other than this pizza place, so we pulled up and parked in front of the pizza place. It seemed like everybody in the town must have gone to that pizza place. When we parked the car, everyone in the restaurant turned and looked at our car through the big glass windows. They all did it at the same time. They stared at us. We stared at them. It felt so weird that I said, I don't want to go in there. My friend just nodded at me wide-eyed, and we drove to another town for lunch. Hell yeah.
That's weird.
A number of years ago, I was using an online chat site and talking to a woman who claimed to live around 50 miles from me. We chatted quite happily for a couple of days. Then on the third day, a Saturday night, she was online and we were talking, but she seemed different somehow. Something didn't seem right. She explained that she was drinking, and I assumed that was the reason behind the melancholy. We kept chatting, and she turned on her camera so I could see her. Over a couple of hours of chatting, her mood seemed to grow darker, and she seemed distressed. But she was hesitant and wouldn't elaborate any further. She left and returned about 30 minutes later and appeared drunker and more distressed. This time, she had a stack of tablets on the table. She claimed that she couldn't go on and started to take tablet after tablet. I had no idea what the medication was. Her speech was getting more and more incoherent. Then I found myself in a terrible position. Was I watching someone take their own life on a live stream, totally unable to do anything? All that I had was a name and a town, both of which could be false. I made the excuse of needing the toilet and left the room, and took the opportunity to call my local authorities and explain the situation. They took what details I knew and was told to go back and try to keep her talking and try to get further details from her. A plainclothes representative came over. Whilst I was chatting to her, he pulled up the chat logs and history on his laptop. By this time, her speech was becoming more and more incoherent, and the camera had been knocked over, so it was impossible to see her. Soon we had lost connection. Was this all real? Was it all fake? I had no idea of knowing. During this time, the guy was on the phone with the station giving them what information he had been able to obtain. He then left, leaving me to contemplate. The next evening, someone called who wanted to thank me from the station. They'd managed to trace her through her IP address and had been able to attend. Apparently, it had been a genuine attempt to take her own life, and she had been taken to a hospital and was subsequently undergoing treatment.
Oh my God.
That's horrible. Why would you do that to somebody?
Seriously, that is so scary.
When I was 4, I hated tying my shoes. I was terrible at it, and progress was not happening. One morning, I was throwing a fit because my mom told me to tie my shoes before we left the house, and I was trying to avoid this awful responsibility while yelling and screaming on the step of the staircase. The ceiling above the staircase extended from the second floor horizontally to the space above the first step, where it met a vertical wall that connected the second floor ceiling to that of the first.
Okay. I think they meant floor, but yeah.
Okay. I was screaming on one of the lower steps, and my gaze drifted upwards after a few minutes. I stopped crying. I went silent. I distinctly remember seeing a man in a sharp black suit with the head of a boar, all blue and complete with tusks and fur, bracing himself in the corner of the ceiling like a ninja above my head, staring down at me.
What the fuck?
He didn't say anything, but I knew what he wanted. My mom asked me what happened. She noticed my abrupt change in mood and started to ask what happened, and I cut her off in a monotone voice, saying only, "He told me to be good."
Was that it?
That was it.
That is creepy.
That is creepy as fuck.
He just wanted him to tie his shoes?
He wanted him to stop acting like a little fucking baby. And this is my last one. My best friend lived on a farm in the UK that had been in her family for 300 years. They had a completely open attic without beams. It was super light and airy, so one night we decided to have a sleepover up there. My friend said she thought there might be squirrels living in there as she heard scratching and banging around regularly. So we crept up the rickety old stairs, whispering to the quiet, feeling brave but scared. As we got up to the attic itself, there was an odd vibe. The closest I can think of is the sensation you get when you know something bad could happen just before you trip and your stomach falls. We both felt the same thing. Still, we poked around this huge space and found nothing unusual. And that was that. Then we turned to leave, and the scribbling, scratching started from what seemed like only a few feet away. My friend grabbed the torch and swung it around with both of us expecting a tiny animal and trying not to yell or wake her parents. Nothing, but at that point, the hairs on the back of our necks were on end. We were about ready to run back down the stairs when we did a final sweep with the torch. That was when we saw what was like a mass of hair with stick legs and arms.
What?
It was bigger than tall and skinny 13-year-old me. It skittered up the wall next to the window so fast it was like a house spider running under a sofa. It disappeared into a dark corner, and in those seconds we turned and ran with the sound of scritch, scritch following us as we slammed the door and set the bolt. Her mom was not happy we'd been exploring. They hadn't had anyone check the space for years for structural integrity. All I know is after a talking to, we didn't sleep that night, and a few weeks later I slept over and they'd moved her bedroom to one of the downstairs reception rooms.
Huh. That's creepy.
So a ball of hair with stick legs and arms?
Apparently.
Ugh.
Crawled up the wall.
Ugh. I like it.
All right, I have some creepy, unexplained happenings.
Okay.
I stole a picture from one of the historic houses in Old Town San Diego on Halloween for fun with my girlfriend. Picture was painted in the 1800s. It was Jesus praying in a hallway. Upon closer examination, there was an alternate black devil-looking Jesus hidden in the shadows of the painting. I took it home and put it in a closet.
Wait, they stole it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Randomly on nights, I would smell the worst smell in the world and wake up to see what looked like a black smoke cloud. I moved 3 times and still saw the same shit. Finally, my roommate saw the same thing, so I knew I wasn't crazy. Long story short, I brought the picture back to where I got it and told one of the employees what I did and apologized, and she replied, "Don't worry, they always come back to us."
Ooh, creepy.
It is creepy. What was a devil-looking Jesus doing in there?
I don't know.
And it was hidden in there? That's creepy.
Yeah, that's very creepy.
Next one, in my hometown area, there's a ghost story about a large gray bull that roams local farms and bellows when seen, only to vanish into thin air. When I was a boy in the Scouts, I heard that story at a meeting, and it made my blood run cold and gave me a distinct taste of salt in my mouth. One of the earlier memories of being in the bottom of our fields at home and walking back uphill towards our house, I looked up, and in front of me was a gigantic grayish blue bull standing between me and the house. I had never seen it before, and we didn't have cows, so when it bellowed, I turned tail and ran down through the field. When I looked back behind me, the whole wide-open field with nowhere to go, it was gone. My grandmother didn't believe me, of course, but years later, when she was our dead mother, and when that story was being told, I looked up at her across the room, and she was already looking at me as white as a ghost.
Mm.
They saw the bull ghost.
Yeah.
Next one, when I was in high school, a guy and I got into an argument. He socked me in the jaw, and I started to fall to the floor. When I hit the floor, I was instantly transported to a dinner table at which I was an adult. There was a woman sitting across from me with a toddler boy and a preteen girl. I got a good look at my surroundings, a relatively modern house with what looked like 2 floors. I felt like I belonged here, like I had some sort of emotional connection with all the people in the room, especially the kids. When the woman, my wife, asked me a question, when I opened my mouth, I threw up all over the table and woke up in a stretcher in an ambulance. Hours later, I found out I just had a minor concussion. For a while, I felt like I was leaving a part of my life behind me, even if it was only for a bleak moment in that world. To this day, I can still clearly remember all their faces and what the house looked like.
That brings new meaning to getting knocked into next week.
Yeah. One day I was over at a friend's house and we go into the kitchen to do something. Both him and I are moving around the kitchen. All of a sudden we hear a pop and then there's a small spot of orange gooey stuff on my friend's shirt. To this day we have no idea what it was. Looked around the entire kitchen and didn't find anything that looked similar to the goo. We just chalked it up to an interdimensional being jizzing on my friend. Nice. My close friend lived in New York City, and she was driving with some cousins and got into an accident. This was about 2 a.m. Sunday morning. I'm dead asleep. I dreamt the entire crash, and the scream from when they hit the median woke me up. It sounded like she was right next to me, screaming in my ear. As I got my phone to call her and checked, she had called me. I told her bits and pieces of what I had seen, but she figured I was guessing everything. Until I described the dress she had on, and she freaked out because she had never shown me that dress. She had just bought it, and I even knew that the tag was still on it. That's creepy. That like
is very creepy.
Premonition shit.
I wouldn't be going wherever she was going to be going.
Next one, it's been said that there's a curse in my family. Sometimes I'm inclined to believe it. We've had countless tragedies. One night I had a dream that I was picking wildflowers in a field. 4 tornadoes from every direction came at me. I woke up with a fever. I started having lady pains that my doctor thought was a UTI. I was given a round of antibiotics. I'd get better, and then I'd get sick again. I started wasting away until the day my sister came over and got me, cleaned me up, and carried me to her car and brought me to the hospital. They did an ultrasound and found a large mass on one of my ovaries. Surgery was planned immediately. I remember waking up in the hospital room, and all around me were shadows, but comforting ones. The doctor came in and was dumbfounded as to why it happened. He said it was like concrete around my ovary. I went home, but I couldn't sleep. My mother still felt something was off. She made an appointment with a medicine man. We are indigenous. We knew nothing beforehand and smoked a pipe and prayed. He said a dark woman threw tobacco, and she cursed my path when I stepped on it. He pointed to my left side, which is where the infection was. He said, "You still feel it, don't you?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Lay down," and he used these bones and placed them over my left side. He started to vomit a yellow substance. He smudged me with sage and gave me teas to drink, and then it was over. The wildest part, the doctor told me the infection over my ovary was yellow in color. I never had any problems like that again. That night I went home and slept for 12 hours. Our family knows who did it. Their family have hated us for many decades. It was over a man. The woman who did it is now dead. Good riddance. That's creepy.
That is very creepy.
Next one, my brother was helping me across the country. I'm assuming move. We borrowed a van and loaded everything up for the last trip. Just before we left, I checked my watch and called my girlfriend that would be hitting the road soon. My brother checked the kitchen clock, but only told me later that he did. We set out, but couldn't do more than 80 kilometers per hour, because of the load. When we took the off-ramp of my new city, my brother told me he couldn't remember the trip. When I thought about it, neither could I. We both thought we were tired and thought nothing of it. However, when we arrived at the new house, my girlfriend asked if I broke the speed limit because we were almost an hour early. When retracing the route, my brother and I both agreed that we can remember passing a certain gas station and nothing after that, until the off-ramp. To this day, we both have no clue what happened during that hour we were missing, or how we could have traveled that fast, not with any car or van at least. Now, at the beginning, I wrote we both independently checked the time. This is important for us because one time source could have been wrong, but not both. Also, I called before we left, which limits the time we could use to travel.
Very interesting.
I lost an hour. Since then, we have never experienced any weirdness like this or otherwise. I don't have any weird memories or dreams, no pieces of metal lodged under my skin, etc. Just lost an hour. That's weird.
They went through a portal.
They had to have to be able to travel that fast. To get from one place to another. Or the aliens went a little bit too far.
When they dropped him back?
Yeah.
It was around here somewhere. They'll be fine.
This happened when I was either 8 or 9. It involves a weird incident with my twin brother and for a long time after, I thought I had dreamt it. So it was early evening after the sun had gone down, and I was downstairs in the living room watching TV. My brother was up in our bedroom reading. At some point, this really uncomfortable feeling came over me, and I thought that my brother needed my help. I go upstairs, and our bedroom at the time was at the end of the hallway. As I walk down the hallway, I'm standing right outside our door, and right as I go to knock, I hear a voice say, "I have to leave now." He opened the door and said, "I think someone was outside the window talking to me, but the only thing I heard was that they had to leave." We were both creeped out and told our mother what happened, but nothing ever came of it. For a long time I thought I had dreamt this, but a few years ago my brother asked me, "Hey, remember that time when we were kids and someone was talking to me through the bedroom window? Remember how he left right when you came to the room? What the hell was that?" Because he remembered it exactly the way I do, I'm convinced it really happened. It was on the second floor, too.
That's creepy.
That is creepy. Next one, my wife calling my name. Nothing unusual about that, except that I did not hear it with my ears. I was listening to Led Zeppelin's In My Time of Dying on the stereo, and it was cranked up. I heard it in my mind. I walked to the bathroom as I knew my wife was taking a bath. I found her face down in the water. She was unconscious, having suffered an epileptic seizure. Fortunately, I found her in time.
Oh my gosh.
Holy
That
shit.
gave me chills.
They are connected.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Next one, we're all convinced that something is going on in the flat above my parents who had lived there since 2002. For starters, all of us, me, my siblings, our parents, as well as some of our neighbors, occasionally heard furniture being dragged across the floor when no one was currently living there. Sometimes we hear footfalls of a running child as well. There's also the fact that in the years since we've moved there, 2 different married couples lived there, both divorced within a year. A third couple came in the brink of divorce to the point where they stopped living together for a while. She went to her parents' house, I think, and he also went to stay somewhere else. Apparently, in their time away, they mended things, and after hearing stories about that flat, decided to move out. No idea if they're still together as of now. Actually, before I moved out in 2009, a couple was remodeling it, apparently spent a ton of money on it, but their relationship fell apart, and they never got married. That's crazy. That apartment has a
Cursed apartment.
Yeah. They don't like couples there.
Apparently.
Next one, I saw my mom holding my baby sister in her arms and taking her to bed. Not weird, right? My mom was still pregnant with my sister at the time. I went to the kitchen and saw her there, still in there, still pregnant. I didn't even bother going to the bedroom to see who just was in there. Just nope. Stay in living room, mind my own business.
I would have had to have went and looked.
I know. Yeah, I'm too nosy.
Me too.
Next one, when I was 6 and my brother was 10, we had a 21-year-old foster brother who lived with us off and on. One night, I woke up to see him standing in the doorway of my room checking in on me. I said his name in a questioning voice. He said, "It's okay, go back to sleep." Around the same time, my brother woke up in tears. He said he had a dream about a knight standing on a hill, and it made him feel very sad. Turns out my brother died in a car crash that evening. Oh, that's sad. Next one, when I was 19 and my best friend was 20, we're nearly 40 now, we're driving back to my house after visiting someone at work. We were on a somewhat busy road. It was getting dark, but wasn't quite dark yet. There were street lights and business lights everywhere, so visibility was still great. This road has 3 lanes in each direction, and there was a concrete median dividing the traffic. I was in the left lane next to the median, and the traffic light was coming up. I saw a man standing in the median a good way before where the crosswalk was for the light. It instantly made me nervous. As soon as I thought that, he stepped out to cross the street. My best friend and I both instantly braced for impact as I slammed on my brakes. We went through him. We didn't hit him, and because there was a car right to my right, I wasn't able to swerve out of the lane to avoid hitting the man. I looked in the rear view, and there wasn't anyone there. I had come to a complete stop, and we physically turned around in our seats to see if he had jumped out of the way. There was no one there, and no way he could have run off or hidden anywhere that fast. We both turned toward each other and, almost in sync, asked each other, "Did you see that man?" We both saw the same thing. A man, couldn't describe his face, but it was a man's form, and both of us remember being confused as to why he was wearing a white robe. We both being terrified that he stepped out in front of us like he was committing suicide. I had a baby in the back seat. She was about 3 months old. She had been crying during the drive and went silent when we came to a screeching stop, which added to the weirdness of it all. We still bring it up occasionally, and neither of us can come up with an explanation for what we saw other than something supernatural. Also, we both saw the white cloth fling across the windshield like he was hitting it. But there was no impact, nothing. It was like he went through the car.
Ew.
That is so creepy. Next one, every year on my birthday for the first 20 years of my life, I woke up at the exact time I was born, 5:56 a.m. When I was stationed in the UK, I woke up at 10:56 a.m. and thought, broke the streak, until I realized I was 5 hours ahead.
That's crazy.
That's weird. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Next one, when I was very young, my family lived in the middle of nowhere in an old 2-story house, and for almost a year, weird stuff would happen. My older sister and I shared a room upstairs, and sometimes we'd wake up to things crashing downstairs. Our parents would run upstairs to check on us because the kitchen would be trashed, pots and pans flung everywhere, and they wanted to make sure we were okay. Apparently, they'd find me talking to no one often, and I would tell them about my friend who was another little girl that lived in our house with us. I would explain to them that she lived there before us, and she was mad we were moving before Mom was having the baby. They thought I just had an imaginary friend, but the wallpaper in the bathroom would be torn, dishes would be all over the floor in the morning. I didn't remember any of this, but the mess and the faint memory of what the girl looked like that I know I didn't go to school with. My mom swears she saw the girl I described standing in our kitchen one night looking very sad. I don't know if my parents were messing with my sister and I or what, but they waited for my brother to be born before we moved, so who knows. I mean, if multiple people in the family have seen the same thing.
Yeah.
Next one, ghost car. I worked the overnight shift at an AM radio station back in the 90s. I saw a car come down the driveway to the parking lot. I went out to see who it was, and the car was just gone. I would have seen it if it had turned around and backed out. I thought I was going nuts until the announcer strolled out of the studio and said, "What happened to that car?" Next one, let me preface this with my morning routine. I wake up at 4:30, out the door at 5:15, clock in at work at 5:50 a.m. Never fails unless major traffic incident on the highway. Anyhow, one morning this past August, I am out the door as usual, minimal traffic on the road. Boss calls me halfway through my commute. "Hey, you coming in?" I say, "Yeah, why do you ask?" "Boss, well, it's 6:30 a.m. and you usually call if you're going to be late." I look at my dashboard and yep, it's 6:30. Somewhere between leaving my door and getting on the road, I lost an hour.
Ew.
That is creepy. I hate that.
I hate those.
Oh my. Next one, I have a friend who once told me about a time that he was in his teens. He slept in a bunk bed with his brother on the lower bunk. He said he dreamt a demon was wearing the skin of a man, threatened to take his brother's life. In order to save him, he had somehow managed to procure a knife and put the knife through the neck of the demon. The demon tells him the only way to rid evil is through evil. He hesitated and woke up to find that he was pressing a butcher knife under the neck of his younger brother. He was still sleeping, fortunately, but when he awoke, he told the same exact dream, except he was attacked by his brother in the dream and said the exact same thing. The only way to rid evil is through evil. Nothing similar happened to that after, and it gave him some serious issues that led him to go through psychotherapy for a while. I can't say if it's true or not. As far as I know, he made the whole thing up, but I don't think so, as he was reluctant to mention it.
Why would he think it was... They both had the dream, right?
Yeah, that's what it said.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's weird. Anyway. I was driving down the highway about 3 a.m. when a semi-truck pulled alongside me, then swerved into my lane, running me off the road and down a very steep incline. I remember going over. I gunned the engine. Why, I don't know, but I was going downhill. I kept telling myself to step on the brake. I couldn't move it, like someone was holding my foot down. Then I heard this voice tell me, "Okay, now you can step on the brake." Neither my infant daughter nor myself were injured, and the only damage to the car was a hole in the oil pan. Both the tow truck and the highway patrol officer were incredulous that I didn't roll the car. They told me if I had tried to stop any sooner than I did, I would have probably ended us both. That's crazy. And my last one, when I was a child, while waiting for the bus, I was very nearly attacked by the biggest, blackest, meanest dog I had ever seen, until an equally big white dog came out of nowhere to my defense while I ran back inside. It made me think a lot about angels and demons, and I've never been sure what to believe since it happened. That's interesting.
That is. That's very interesting.
Those are mine.
Well, it means it's time for the witty wrap-up.
Yay, witty wrap-up.
I did funny tweets.
Okay.
There is no one louder, more observant, or as articulate as a toddler in a public restroom stall with their parent.
That's true.
I have heard that before.
Yeah.
The kids, they just jabbering away. My 5-year-old just announced that he wants to name his first kid Godzilla, and looking back at his class roster, it could honestly be so much worse. That is true.
I know, it's bad.
7-year-old, what do you do after we go to bed? Me. I sit and think about you and your brother, how much I love you, and it makes me miss you until morning. 7-year-old, I could stay up with you and keep you company. Me. Hell no, but thanks.
That's funny.
You never let me get anything. My 5-year-old holding a balloon, cotton candy, and 2 packs of sprinklers.
Oh my God.
My daughter and niece have a new game where they pretend to be grannies, and the game is just them loudly complaining about things in old lady voices.
Oh my
Anyway, I'm waiting for my turn to play.
You just jump in whenever you're ready.
It's like our old lady rant.
Exactly. They just happen.
Yeah. My husband and I committed to never yelling at our kids. Then we had kids.
Yep.
Parenting expert. Give your toddler choices so they feel like they have control. Me. Would you like to wear a dress or a t-shirt today? My toddler. Give me the iPad.
God damn.
My daughter called children's liquid ibuprofen pain juice, and I'm contacting their marketing department to suggest a permanent name change.
I like it.
I do too. Took my 11-year-old out to spend some of her babysitting money, and she sighed. I thought ice cream would taste different with my own money. It tastes the same. Welcome to the working world, kid.
Yep. Just wait.
My 3-year-old saw a photo of a vacation we went on in November and asked, "Where's Winnie?" And I said, "She wasn't born yet." And he went, "She wasn't always here?" And this is it, folks. We've dawned from Buffy'd him, finally. You have to remember, did you watch Buffy?
No.
Oh, well, you wouldn't get it then. She was a sister, she was Buffy's sister, but she just showed up one day out of nowhere.
Oh. Okay.
Like, who the fuck is this? I don't remember why. That was so long ago, God. I spent a solid 10 minutes lecturing my kid about not writing on the couch with a pen, and she said, "It's a marker, not a pen."
Oh my God.
That deserves a slap.
Oh my God. I've been there.
When I said, "Lay here for a few minutes and let these eardrops do their work," obviously I meant, this is a great time to perform Little Mermaid karaoke.
Obviously. Be more clear.
Sorry, kids, I missed your childhood. I was trying to figure out which app to use to seek validation from strangers.
Aw.
I put my hair up to wash my face, and my son said, "You look pretty with a messy bun," so I straight bought him a car even though he's only 11.
Wow, that must be nice.
My kid got overheated and said the only thing that would help was French fries. And I'm not a doctor, but that sounds about right.
Sure, I can see that.
I found me a great way to wake up in the morning without drinking coffee. Get your toddler to spill hot coffee on you. You'll wake right up.
God.
Sweet things my kids said during the fireworks show they waited all week for and we hauled ass to get to. When is it done? Can we go home now? This isn't that great yet. I'm bored. I don't like these kinds. I want to go to bed.
Oh my gosh. And then when they don't go next year, they're like, what?
Yeah. Definitely have kids if you want woken up at dawn on a Saturday because your kid wants you to watch them watch a stranger play a video game you don't even like on their tablet.
Oh my gosh. My kids knew better than
Yeah,
to
my
wake me
kid
up.
knew better. Me. It's important to tell your parents everything. My 8-year-old. When Mommy woke up this morning, she looked 100 years old. Me. Whatever you do, don't tell her that. Happy 4th of July to all Americans, and happy Independence Day to those without kids.
That's every day. That doesn't count.
Kids with rich parents have a higher chance to end up as entitled and snobby, and so I hope my kids appreciate how much I've gone out of my way not to be rich for them.
For them. That's right.
And my last one, first kid, all organic. Second kid, cupcakes aren't for breakfast. Now eat your Cocoa Puffs. Third kid, popcorn counts as a vegetable. And that's all I got.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. Send your stories in or suggestions, schoolsnightoutpodcast@gmail.com. We'll talk to you next week.
Later.
Bye.